You think Raw starts with a passport and a pistol. It doesn't. It starts with a pay matrix level and a blank form. Your name disappears in triplicate. There are 10 levels. Most people never reach level 6. Level 1. Assistant Field Officer. Obedience is your first language. Silence is your second. Nobody tells you why, they tell you where. You sit in a training room near Gurgaon. The air smells like chalk dust and instant coffee. A ceiling fan clicks like a metronome. You memorize legends and cover resumes. You learn the difference between officer and agent. You repeat it until it sounds like prayer. You run paperwork for a desk you cannot name. You stamp restricted on files you cannot read. Your hands learn the weight of secrecy. Of 40,000 screened, 12 reach this room. Of 12, 5 finish the first month. You don't ask about the missing 7. Then a message arrives. No name, no location, just a time. Level 2. Field Assistant. Details are weapons. Carelessness is a confession. You do not improvise, you execute. 3 weeks later, you work Delhi streets. Winter air cuts your lips near Lodi Road. Diesel hangs low, sweet and dirty. You stand near a signal site. A folded newspaper means abort. A red thread means proceed. You carry a burner phone you never answer. You carry a second phone you never power on. You carry both like they're evidence. You learn surveillance logs. You learn license plates by sound. You learn footsteps by rhythm. You are one of 60 in this support pool. Only 9 ever touch an overseas chain. You wait to become 9. Everything you believe about courage is incomplete. You find out the rest on a Tuesday. Level 3. Deputy Field Officer. Movement is doctrine. Pattern is death. You are trained to disappear while standing still. After 18 months, you run SDR routes. You take 3 buses to reach one corner. The route smells like sweat and cheap perfume. You watch reflections, not faces. You watch hands, not eyes. You count turns like rosary beads. You learn dead drops without romance. A loose brick, a hollow fence post, a grocery bag with no groceries. You handle small cash bundles, old notes, soft from too many hands. You log every serial number in your head. Of 200 trainees, 20 become DFO. Of 20, 3 are cleared for NOC track. Your file gets the 3rd check mark. A name appears in the file. You recognize it. You wish you didn't.
Level 4. Field Officer.
You recruit slowly. You leave quickly. Trust is never given. It is extracted. 2 years in, you cross to Kathmandu. Your passport says business. Your body says work. Hotel soap smells like metal and jasmine. You meet an access agent in Tamil. He arrives early. That means fear. He sits with his back to the wall. You do not promise safety. You promise structure. You promise payments on time. You promise a way to speak without speaking. You run encrypted chats with hard cutoff times. You trade photos of documents, not documents. You keep the originals in his world. You are one of 11 handlers in this corridor. Only 2 are allowed direct cutouts. Tonight, you become 2. You stop sleeping through the night. You wake at 3 a.m. without reason. You are given 2 options. Neither is acceptable. You have 48 hours. Level 5. Senior Field Officer. Cover is a cage. You live inside it. Every friend is a vulnerability. 4 years later, you build a legend in Dubai. You sell consulting that never sells anything. The lobby smells like citrus cleaner and money. You rent an office you never use. You pay staff you cannot know. You host meetings you cannot remember. Your comms become ritual. One-time numbers, timed windows, silent acknowledgments. You delete messages before you finish reading. You run a 2-person team, 1 watcher, 1 runner. Both expendable. You are not exempt. Of 8 senior field officers in this region, 1 travels alone. Traveling alone is called trust. It is also called no backup. Your partner asks where you've been. You give the cover story. It lands flat. The file says 47. You were told 12. The difference means someone lied for years.
Level 6, Under Secretary.
The desk owns you. The field borrows you. Your signature becomes a weapon. 6 years in, you return to New Delhi. You walk government corridors that smell like disinfectant. Fluorescent lights hum, endless and cold. Your badge opens doors without signs. The elevator has no floor numbers. You learn to stop looking for labels. You sit on an external desk. You read traffic from Kathmandu, Dhaka, Kabul. You rewrite reports into clean language. You approve expenses that never exist publicly. You deny requests that could save lives. You do both without changing your face. You are one of 3 undersecretaries on this chain. Only one gets read in to Special Ops. The read-in is you. A number prints on your new access card. It is not your employee number. It is your replacement plan. Then a message arrives. No name, no location, just a time. Level 7, Deputy Secretary. Authority is quiet. Consequences are loud. You do not win here. You manage damage. After 9 years, you fly to Bangkok. The plane cabin reeks of recycled air. Your seatbelt feels like a restraint. You meet a liaison in a hotel corridor. The carpet is damp from humidity. The ice machine grinds like distant teeth. You supervise an NOC deep cover insertion. You sign off on identity documents and banking history. You watch a life get fabricated in spreadsheets. You brief the agent on one rule: no contact with family, no contact with home. Home is a compromised location. You authorize a burn notice. A cutout panics. An asset goes missing. You do not chase. You close the account. Of 60 deputy secretaries, 4 touch NOC insertions. Of 4, 1 stays in the loop afterward. Staying in the loop is your sentence. At 44, you feel 60. Doctors call it stress. You call it normal. Everything you were told about exit is incomplete. You learn the rest at midnight. Level 8, Director. Power is access. Access is liability. You read files that can end careers. 12 years in, you take diplomatic cover in Dhaka. Your office smells like paper, ink, and old air conditioning. Outside, traffic horns never stop. You run a station without saying station. You run assets through third country channels. You run cutouts who do not know they are cutouts. You coordinate with technical units back home. You request comment on a narrow frequency band. You wait for data that arrives already redacted. You brief an operation with a public code name. Operation Leech appears in a historical case study file. It reads like betrayal written in official font. You authorize a contact. The asset asks for extraction. You deny it for strategic reasons. Of 15 directors, 2 sit on regional covert action boards. You become the second. Your calendar stops being yours. Your spouse stops asking about your travel. They have learned the pattern of your lies. A name resurfaces in a cable. It is the name from level 3. It is not supposed to be alive. Level 9, Joint Secretary. Distance is protection. It is also abandonment. You decide in rooms that never see sunlight. 15 years in, you return to Delhi again. The conference room air tastes like dry carpet. The projector fan whines like a small engine. You sit over a map wall. Kabul, Colombo, Malé, Yangon. You think in flight times and border fences. You coordinate foreign postings under official cover. You approve consular placements that are not consular. You move people like pieces. You sign liaison understandings with services you will never name. You trade access for access. You trade information for silence. A moral fracture arrives in a thin folder. An asset is compromised because of policy. You initial the closure. Your pen does not pause. Of the entire service cadre, 7 reach Joint Secretary. Only 2 are cleared for Special Operations oversight. You are one of 2. Your hands don't shake. That surprises you. You were given 2 options. Neither is acceptable. You have 48 hours. Level 10. Secretary Research. You are the final filter. You are the final liability. Nothing leaves the building without your shadow. And then you are Secretary Research. There is no celebration. There is a schedule. Your office smells like polished wood and stale tea. You receive briefings that never get written down. You receive numbers that never get repeated. You learn to remember without notes. You make one decision that changes a decade. A covert action package goes forward, or it doesn't. Either way, someone dies in a place you won't visit. You read a file stamped with old operations. Operation Cactus appears as a line item, a reminder that rescue and interference share a border. You authorize a deep cover exfiltration window. The agent misses it by 9 minutes. 9 minutes becomes a lifetime. You sign a retirement plan you cannot use. Your cover identity is too deep. Your real identity is too exposed. Of every officer who enters this wing, 1 reaches this chair. The chair is not a prize. It is a quarantine. There is a ceremony. 40 people. The director speaks. You receive a medal you cannot show anyone. You lock it in a drawer that already holds 3. You go home in a car with dark glass. The streetlights smear across the window like wet paint. You listen to the tires on asphalt. Nothing else. A file says 47 again. This time, it is your number. The difference means your replacement is already training. A new recruit sits in a room near Gurgaon. The air smells like chalk dust and instant coffee. A ceiling fan clicks like a metronome. He fills out a form with his real name. He thinks the work starts with a passport and a pistol. He doesn't look up when the door opens. The form is waiting. It always is.